I'm not going to be him. I'm going to be me. Shall we start with prayer? Lord Jesus, thank you for this morning. Thank you for this opportunity for us to meet together. And Lord, we just ask that you, as we study your word, that you'll give us eyes to see, that you'll give us ears to hear. And Lord, may our hearts be hearts that will receive your word. Plant your word in us so that it may grow. Amen. Amen. Okay, so today I am continuing the series we've just started. We have started to look at the life of Peter and all the different things that Peter has done, and we might even get on to looking at some of the letters that Peter wrote. So we're kind of looking at Peter as a character in the Bible, Peter as a person, and how this impacted his relationship with Jesus, his ministry, and all of that. So today I am looking at a particular event that's recorded in Peter's life, and that's in Matthew 14, 22 to 23. Matthew 14, 22 to 23. And it's the story of Peter walking on water with Jesus. But I've decided to call this sermon Risk and Reward. Risk and Reward. And we'll look at how that fits in later on. So Matthew 14. So Jesus walks on the water. Immediately, Jesus made the disciples get onto the boat and go on ahead of him to the other side, while he dismissed the crowd. After he had dismissed them, he went up on a mountainside by himself to pray. Later that night, he was there alone. The boat was already a considerable distance from the land, buffeted by the waves, because the wind was against it. Shortly before dawn, Jesus went out to them, walking on the lake. When the disciples saw him on the lake, they were terrified. "It's a ghost," they said, and cried out in fear. But Jesus immediately said to them, "Take courage, it is I. Don't be afraid." "Lord, if it's you," Peter replied, "tell me to come to you on the water." "Come," he said. Then Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came towards Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately, Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. "You of little faith," he said, "why did you doubt?" And when they climbed into the boat, the wind died down. Then those who were in the boat worshipped him, saying, "Truly, you are the Son of God." Okay, let's just set the story in a little bit of context for us. So just before this happened, we have the feeding of the 5,000. Okay, so Jesus feeds 5,000 people with a few bits of bread and a couple of fish, and a miracle happens and everyone's fed. Jesus tells his disciples, "Off you go on your boat, leave me here, I want to go and pray. I'll go tell the people to go home, and I'll go and pray, and I'll see you later." So that's what they do. Isn't it interesting how they've just seen the power of God move in an amazing way, but yet, almost that same night, it's, "Oh no, what's going to happen to us?" And sometimes it can be that way with us. Sometimes we can experience a powerful move of God, but yet there's still more for us to learn. There's still more. There's still space for our faith to grow. So we get trained up by degrees. We get trained up by God step by step. Again here we see Jesus as Lord of creation, of nature. Feeding of the 5,000. He feeds the 5,000. He has power over that food. Here he shows he has power over the water, over the wind. And there's other places where we see that happening. Today I just got the sense that what I'm going to be talking about is going to be more of a corporate word. That means for our church as a whole. It can also be applied individually. So when I say us, you might want to also think, oh yes, and me. Okay, because you can apply it individually as well as corporately. But I think that this is a word specifically for us as a church, as a whole, for this season and this time that we are in, or indeed about to enter in. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Verse 24. The boat was already a considerable distance from the land, buffeted by the waves, because the wind was against it. Shortly before dawn, Jesus went out to them, walking on the lake. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. "It's a ghost," they said, and cried out in fear. But Jesus immediately said to them, "Take courage, it is I. Do not be afraid." As a church, we've kind of been in a time of pruning, a time of trial. We've been in a season where there have been some storms individually as well as corporately. And we've been in this time of pruning, of cutting back, but it's also been a time of strengthening our roots and strengthening our foundations and restructuring the way that we do things. And we've been trying to walk with Jesus and work with Jesus through this time. And I do believe that we are now entering a new season. In the passage, we see the disciples are in a storm. Again, they've been in a storm in a boat before, if we remember. That time, Jesus was asleep on the boat with them. This time, Jesus isn't in the boat with them. See again, training by degrees. Yeah? He was really close that time. This time he's a bit further off. Here it comes again. What are you going to do this time? So, they've been here before. And quite often in these times in our life, we ask the question, where are you, Jesus? Where are you? Are you there? Can you hear me? And we can see that he is. When they first saw him, they didn't recognize it was him. They thought he was a ghost. They cried out in fear. You see, it was so far removed from their experience. In a storm, we must be coming under attack. This might be something else coming to get me. Help. It's also to do with our eyes. What eyes are we using? Again, it's so easy in a storm, in trials in life, when we're trying to cope with this whirlwind of emotions and all sorts of stuff that's going wrong, to look at things through natural eyes. And you look at someone walking out on the water in the middle of the storm towards you with natural eyes, and you think, help, that's impossible, this isn't happening, how can someone walk on water, this is terrifying, I need to get out of here. Jesus understood this, and he said to them, "It is I." And when he said that, they recognized him. Notice he didn't need to introduce himself. He didn't need to say, "Hold on a minute, I've got my passport, I've got my ID card in here somewhere, have a look at that, yes, it is me, I promise you it's me, you don't have to worry, I'm not some scary person." He didn't even have to say, "It's me, Jesus." All he had to say was, "It's I'm here. It's okay." And that reminds me of John 10:27, when it says, "My sheep know my voice." You see, we need to know Jesus' voice, so that even in the storm, when we're searching for him, and when he says, "It's okay, I'm here," we know he's in control. We can recognize the voice of the shepherd. The sheep recognize the voice of the shepherd. So we need to be in that constant communication with Jesus, prayer, reading the word, etc., so that we can recognize his voice when he's offering his help. And as we recognize him more, we are more at peace. And even in the storm, we know he's there. Are you in a storm today? Are you jumpy? Getting scared by everything that comes your way? Listen carefully. Hear Jesus saying, "It is I." And your fears will be stilled and your strivings will cease. Verse 28 says, "Lord, if it's you, tell me to come to you on the water." Jesus said, "Come." It was quite something for Peter to do that. He recognized his master's voice. He knew it was Jesus coming to him. He's still checking. Is it you? Tell me to come, and I'll come. Sometimes it's worth double checking whether you are hearing God correctly. Okay? Sometimes it's worth asking someone else, "Look, I think this is from God. What do you think?" Especially if it's something massive that will change your life in a big way. Okay? So, recently, well, for a while, I'll rewind a bit. For a while, I've had this sense and this desire to stop teaching at a school. And the main aim of it being to release more time for me to be able to do stuff for the church and with ministry. I understand there's a few extra bits that might need to come along to help me pay the bills, but that's the main aim and the passion. And I believed that this was something that God was asking me to do. But I didn't say, "Oh, well, I think this is a great idea. I think God's in it. All right, here we go." And I was out the door. No. I waited. And I said, "Okay, God, I believe this is you, but now I wait. It's your timing. You know when the right time is. I don't. I can get all excited and carried away. It's going to be a massive change for me and my family. It's going to be a huge leap of faith because all the security of having a regular paycheck and all that kind of thing, we've got mortgages and all sorts of stuff, that's going to go. So, I'll do it because I know it's you, but I'll do it when it's the right time." You see, when I had a sense from God that I needed to move countries and come halfway around the world, I didn't wait for God. I was like, "Great, wow, this is an awful situation, let's go." Sent things in, applied for things, and my initial application for my visa was refused and sent back. And then it was a case of, okay, this is a big issue. You know what, I haven't actually asked God. I haven't actually prayed about it. So I did, and I said, "I'm sorry. I should have asked you. Here I am thinking this is a great idea, and just going for it without asking, is this you?" See, like Peter did. Is that you? Is this you? He then said to me, "Yes, this is me." And I don't know how much you know about how foreign embassies work and issuing of visas and all that kind of thing. It's really complicated, really difficult. Once they've made a decision, they've made a decision. That same day, the phone rang, the embassy rang me up, said, "Oh, hello, Mr. McCleary, yes, we've changed our minds. Send your passport back in, no extra cost, we'll cover the cost of postage, we're going to give you your visa." Changed our minds. What? So, God was in that. It turned out that one of my relatives had sent through a bit of paperwork that he hadn't sent through before. But this was enough to change the mind of the British government like that. And I had my visa straight away. Because I went to God and said, "Is this you?" So it's worth checking sometimes. Is this you? Are you in this? And even if you are, is this your time? So I've been waiting for a few years to give up my job. It's been a while and I've been waiting. Verity's been a bit impatient. Saying, "Come on, when is it going to happen? It's going to be this year. Come on." "No, not this year. Oh, maybe next year. Come on." No, waiting. All of a sudden, out of the blue, 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, it wasn't that long ago.
Easter.
Just before Easter. Yeah, just before Easter. All of a sudden, we've got too many teachers, too few children, someone's going to be made redundant. Who's it going to be? Either someone volunteers or we go through the process and then we'll pick someone. So I thought, oh, this is interesting. I've been waiting for a sign. I've been waiting for a time. Is this you, God? So I prayed about it. I went to a few people who kind of knew the story already and said, "This is what's happening. What do you think? Is this you, God? Do I step out onto the water or not?" And he said, "Yes, it is. And come." So I have, and I am. And I've got 6 weeks left of my job. And after 6 weeks, that's it. I'm taking this step of faith. But I know God's in it. And the more people I tell about what's happening, the more confirmation just keeps coming back. Even people in South Africa and all over, "Oh, we've just heard your news." Yep. That's it, God's there. Yep, that's right. And even some people who I don't know, through music and stuff, some people I don't know kind of send me messages on Facebook and stuff, and they're like, "We were just randomly praying for you the other day, and we had this psalm for you." And I was like, "Oh, thanks, don't know who you are." Had a look, it looks at Verity, and she said, "Oh yeah, that's exactly the same one I got." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So lots of confirmation. You see, what this does is it fills Peter with courage. In the natural, we can't walk on water. We can't. In the Spirit, if God is with us, if Jesus is in it, Jesus can walk on water. Sometimes, when we feel God calling us, we do have to take a step of faith. We have to risk. We have to take that risk. God won't give you the whole story. He won't say, "Ah, yes, this is what I want you to do. And when you do, there'll be this and this and this and this and this and this and this will happen and this will happen and this will be good and this will happen and this will happen." And look, happy ending at the end. So it's safe, it's fine, you can do it. It doesn't do that. It just gives you enough to take the one step in front of you. Imagine what it was like for Peter getting out of that boat. Jesus said, come walk to me. He gets out of that boat. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? But you've got to take that step. And once you've taken the first step, then you think about, okay, now, all right, Now I'm going to take the second step. And step by step, walking by faith, taking risk. Peter, verse 29, Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came towards Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and he started to sink, crying out, "Lord, save me." You see, faith calls us to take risks. We don't have a safe faith. We don't have a safe God. Well, God is safe, but He's very safe. That's why we can take these risks. Oh, you know what I mean? He calls us to risk, to find that He is safe. Yeah? Faith calls us to take risks. God calls us to take risks. Not the health and safety risks that we take in the UK. Okay? I went to Go some years ago. You know, Fetchwood Forest, and you climb trees, and you have ropes, and you swing from one to the other, and you climb on things and crawl through tyres and that kind of thing, right? But for me, that was so safe, there was no element of danger or risk at all. I had my little harness on, I had my little hard hat on, I was constantly attached to safety wires and 2 or 3 points of contact at all times and all this kind of stuff. I knew that even if I let everything go, I'd be fine. I'd just be dangling there, but I'll be fine. There was no risk, and I knew it. Okay, I might fall an inch. Ooh. Oh, all right. And actually, yeah, well, you have fun, but there isn't that element of risk. In Zimbabwe, primary school, right? Adventure tour, go ape kind of stuff. Not as high up, all right? Not as high up. If you fell out, you would hurt yourself, but you wouldn't break a leg or anything, okay? So it was fairly high, but not death-threateningly high, okay? But there, you've got to work as a team, go through this ropes course, and down the other side to achieve some objective or other. Hard hats? No chance. Safety harness? Forget it. Safety rope? You got to be kidding. There's the trees, there's the ropes, get that person from there to there, ready, go. That's it. There's your safety lecture. But you know what? When there's that element of risk, when there's that element of danger, you learn an awful, awful lot. You learn teamwork. You learn self-belief. You have a greater commitment to your fellow person in your team who's helping you and you helping them get through this ropes course. And if they're not there to help you, you're going to fall. And you're going to get hurt. So boy, do you trust them, and you hope that they trust you too, because without each other, you know, it isn't going to work. When we step out in faith, it's a real risk we're taking. It's not a health and safety risk, I love God, and you know, it'll be okay. It's still a real risk. It still could all go wrong. Peter was walking on the water, and then what? He started to sink. He could have drowned. It's a real risk. But in that moment, he realized his mistake. He started looking with eyes in his natural eyes again. He started realizing the wind. He started realizing the storms. He started letting the enormity and maybe the fear of the situation start to overcome him, and he started sinking because he had taken his eyes off Jesus. He had taken his eyes of faith off the one who was carrying him through, and he started to sink. And the same is true for us. as we walk our daily lives, as we take steps of faith, as we take risks, we've got to keep our eyes of faith fixed on Jesus. Because he is the one carrying us through. It's his power, not ours, that helps us walk on water. And when we lose sight of that, we can't walk on water anymore because we can't do it. And you know what? That's the point. That's the point. You can't do it. So many of these little cards and things, oh, you can do it. Yeah. No, the whole point is you cannot do it. But Jesus can. And it's only with Jesus that you can do it. It's only with Jesus that you can overcome. Not on your own. Not in your own self-strength or self-striving or, I'm going to do positive thinking today. And my day is going to be great because I say, yes, day, it's going to be a good day and I'm going to smile today and I'm a happy person. That doesn't make you any happier. Right? I've tried it. I'm sure some of you might have as well. Thinking positively. It's great to be positive. But you know what? If we don't have the source of positivity, what's that about? The point is we can't do it, but Jesus can. And we need Jesus to be there. So if we do, and even Peter did, right? This great man of God. So don't beat yourselves up if you have days or moments when you do start looking with your natural eyes. And you do start seeing the wind and the waves and start going, oh, I'm sinking here, this is terrible. It's more than likely going to happen. It happens to me. But we need to know that we can turn around and we can say, Jesus, help. And he's right there to reach down and pull you up again. He is there. He's waiting. He's waiting for that call. Help me, Jesus. Here I am. You're all right. Let's keep going. Let's keep walking together. So what is faith? What is faith? Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things unseen. That's Hebrews 11:1. Immediately, Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. You of little faith, he said, why do you doubt? You see, even when we're walking with him, even when we're trusting him, even when we're taking risks with him, we're letting him carry us through those times, he still corrects those he loves. He wants to build our faith. He wants to grow us. Sometimes we need to be stretched. Sometimes we need to be said, see those trees? See those ropes? Go. And that's your safety lecture. Sometimes we need that. By going through the storms, by taking those risks, our faith will grow. And that's why God does it. That's why he asks us to come onto the water. He wouldn't do it otherwise. It's not just so he can have a laugh. Right? If you want to grow in your faith, if you pray in prayers, God, I want to grow in my faith, he's going to put you in situations where you have to use your faith. Because you're not going to grow in it if you don't use it. Like muscles. Yeah? You see these amazing athletes who do real wheelchair racing and things, right? They have enormous upper body strength because that's what they're using and that's what they're training with every day to push the wheels. But their legs are barely there at all, right? Because the muscles they're using, the muscles they're able to use, are the things that get built up and made stronger. And if you don't use it, it won't get made stronger. It'll get weaker. It'll wither away. It'll die. So that's why we get put into these situations. So that we can use our faith. So that we can grow stronger. So that we can build it up. Who's ever prayed the prayer, give me patience? Jesus, give me patience. And then you go to the bank or the post office and there's a massive long queue and you're really busy. Yeah? Hello, your prayer's being answered. Right? You need to use your patience in order to grow your patience. It's not just going to miraculously, oh, I'm now a patient person. Oh, I'm all full of faith. No, you're going to have to use it. So God calls us to take risks. And you see, the reward that we get is growing closer to Him. There's a great song by Hillsong called Where Feet May Fail. It's also called Oceans. I'm just going to read you some of the words. It says, "You call me out upon the waters to the great unknown where feet may fail. And there I find you in the mystery. In oceans deep, my faith will stand. I will call upon your name and keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace. For I am yours, and you are mine. Your grace abounds in deepest waters. Your sovereign hand will be my guide. Where feet may fail and fear surrounds me, you never failed, and you won't start now." You see, that's the point. Your feet may fail. You may sink. It could all go horribly wrong. But it is in this place where the risk is greatest that we hold tighter onto Jesus. We pray more. We trust more. We grow more. At the start of the sermon, I said I believe we're moving into a new season. And I've put this prophecy online for you to have a look at in more depth and detail. This is just a summary of it. I believe the Lord's saying to us as a church that we are leaving our season of pruning behind. We are entering into a new season of harvest. We're moving into a season where He's calling us to take risks, where He's calling us out of the boat. He's asking us to trust Him as we walk upon the waters. This is a time of faith. It's a time of challenge, but a time of abundance and great blessing too. We're going to be singing a song in the second service called "Can We Walk Upon the Water?" When I saw those words, I really believe that's a prophetic song for our church right now. There's also a time of breakthrough coming. Going through the series of spiritual warfare that we have been on, and the spiritual momentum has been building up. And if you've been wanting breakthrough in areas of your life, it's coming, it's now, it's in this next season where we're going. There's no mistake that we've been looking at spiritual warfare, because the time of breakthrough is here. And it's also a time of harvest. We are entering into this, just right around the corner. A time of harvest is coming. And we've been preparing, we've been getting the groundwork ready. But that is where we are heading very soon. Verse 32, when they climbed into the boat, the wind died down. And then those who were in the boat worshipped Him, saying, "Truly, you are the Son of God." You see, Jesus will prove Himself faithful. He will come through for you. He's waiting with His arms outstretched towards you. If you do start to sink, He is there. He will calm the storm. And you will know that truly He is the Son of God. I'm just going to leave you with this from Hebrews 12, verse 2. So we fix our eyes on Jesus. That's what we need to do when we're walking on the water. Fix our eyes on Jesus, who is the pioneer and who is the perfecter of our faith. Amen.